Oh my gosh,
Fundamentals.
we would be the bad boys of Little League. I'm telling you now, we would beat the tar out of the other team.
I'm just gonna go out and say it. Joey Chestnut has to be on the pub.
Has
Not
to be.
pub more. I mean,
Has to be.
Dramatic, man. That was a journey.
Man, I'm gonna get real theological on y'all. I think we're all a little soft and misunderstood. I'll just be real honest.
Get Luke Combs. I was begging for Luke Combs not too long ago. We'll get Luke Combs on here. I challenge Luke. I think I can actually beat him in shotgunning a beer. So if he thinks he's got the cojones to come on and try, then by all means, Luke, bring it on.
That's the intro. You just hit my promo for me, James. I love it. Bienvenidos! Episode 143 of Pub Sports Talk, baby. Let's get it started. Dr. Tim Farner, look at that. Just prestige background behind you.
Hopefully I got it all figured out today, boys.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. I think it sounds crisp, sounds sexy. I like it.
All right.
Tim, my Pick'em's cup isn't behind me yet. And
we'll
talk off air about that, okay?
Yeah, I haven't had access to my office in like a month, so it's kind of weird.
Preacher Man Fitzsimmons rocking just the classic Asheville Goodwill Fine soccer jersey. That thing is nice, dude.
Asheville Football Club, baby. Ingles, primary sponsor.
You'd expect nothing else. Nothing else. And Dirty Dan, the garbage man, Notorious R.E.D. Back again, baby. Let's go.
Whew. I'm all fired up now.
You got some breaking news for us. And, this story is crazy. So go ahead.
Look ahead. In about 2 years, this will be a Netflix documentary. So, right before this, I was telling the crew here, there was a guy that is a legend at our local high school. I'm not going to drop names. This is all allegedly. I just want to get that out there. So, beforehand, it's all allegedly. Not going to drop names. Yeah. So he basically pulled a Bishop Gorman at the collegiate level. We're talking fake football program that had alleged ties with the school. Kids are coming from like Hawaii, Texas to be a part of this program. And the school basically was like, we have no affiliation with you. He had coaches on the website. You can still look at the website. Not gonna bring it up. We'll link somehow the article about it that was in the local news. He had a website with all these coaches. The coaches were like, whoa, I have no idea what this is about. Linking facilities that he had no affiliations with. And to add a wrench that I didn't tell you guys beforehand, he's planning to do this in Miami, and he's still active on Twitter recruiting kids to come for this program. Basically the dude is scamming kids out of money. We're talking like $2,500 to $5,000 up front. Basically nothing included. They had 2 games, lost both of them. Like we're talking like 15-hour van rides, basically no food. It's the wildest story to come out of Surrey County in a long time. You can look it up. WXI. Hang on, let me find the article before. Wait,
I saw it on your thing. Yeah, WXII 12.com.
12. Yeah, so 12
investigates
unfulfilled promises for student athletes at Aces Elite Sports Academy left stranded. Dude, I'm telling you, it's a wild read. Insane. This legend that we grew up idolizing in the East Surrey Pilot Mountain community. It has done. I mean, it's the wildest story. It's got to be a Netflix documentary. It is probably worse than the Bishop Gorman thing. Bishop Gorman at least had semi-nice uniforms.
What was Bishop Gorman? That sounds so familiar.
They were a high school.
The high school that was playing like IMG Academy, and they were in a school.
There's like 30-year-old men tearing their ACLs out there against 17-year-olds. Dude, this is wild. This is right up there with Bishop Gorman, and I think you're right. There's got to be a Netflix documentary because like he's the East Surrey equivalent of Boobie Miles is to Odessa, Texas. And like,
Yeah, I mean, it really is. Like the dude was a freak. When you find his name, look at his highlights on YouTube, and the dude was an animal. And he ran a successful 7-on-7 program from everything that I heard. And this is just next level stuff. I mean, again, I'm not going to drop his name. I'm not going to do anything crazy like that. And this is all alleged, but this is an article from WXII. Read it. It's wild.
dude, this is, man. Yeah, this kind of reminds me of Southampton Institute of Technology. It's like, make up your own college, make up your own school. Let's just do it, boys. Let's go.
Yeah, 100%.
Wow.
At what? So, like, if you're in this situation or any situation like this, at what point, like, when do you think you're going to get away with it? Like, what is it when the students are going to ask for financial aid? Like, do you not equate that? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
I'm trying to make sense. I've been honestly. I hope nobody at work's listening. I basically tried to dive into this all day today and figure out what the hell is happening. Yeah, dude. Like these parents are like, yeah. After like a week, it was red flags. Like he was up front that they would basically be staying in a hotel because the college didn't have like dorms or anything like that, to my knowledge. But they were staying in hotels, and like one of the kids' accounts was like saying they started in a hotel room. Everybody had their own bed. Then it was like 3 deep, and then it was like 5 deep, and then these kids are basically homeless. Begging for money from like the student support center, and huge props to them. You can see in the article, like they helped furnish like a place for them to stay. They had like a running tab at a local restaurant to make sure that the kids were fed, because I mean, shoot, a lot of these hungry kids, and they're coming out of God knows what environments, or they have no college resources. Like the FAFSA was just like, yeah, we have no idea what you're talking about. And these kids are just like, you can actually go to his Twitter and see like they're practicing football in these like hotel courtyards, and it's a wild ride of a read.
Golly, dude.
Jeez.
Man. Well, damn. Hey, Pub Sports Talk, investigating journaling. Look at this. Journalism at its finest here. Everything's alleged. Yeah. We'll have to link that. We'll link that article, and we'll just leave it at that on our social media.
Sure.
All right. Well, I guess the question's got to be now, what's the biggest sports scandal that you guys can think of?
Dude, before this, like I would have said Bishop Gorman.
Yeah, right.
Like that's one of the wildest things. But it's like, think the opposite. Like you think of like 30-year-old guys that probably have at least a job or some sort of social standing and just want to play football again, versus like these kids that are thinking like, man, like I haven't had many opportunities or many shots to go to the next level. This seems like a cool opportunity on paper. I mean, they've got the website and everything. They've got like relatively official looking stuff. And, these kids just want another shot at playing football. And then you go and you just get absolutely screwed. So it's sad. This might be recency bias, but I mean, on paper and everything, it looks pretty shitty.
Yeah, I completely agree. Tim Fitz.
And yeah, I can't. This whole thing is just blowing my mind. I'm trying to think of something else, but this is like, I'm like, okay, I'm dumb, but in no world would I think to do this and like think that you could get away with it. Like, I just don't understand how scamming young adults is like, what level do you have to drop to do this? It's just, like, and you made a good point, Devin. Like the other guy, like, yeah, they're, 30-year-olds. They've started a life. Like these guys are trying to make roots here. So, oh man, that's terrible. I don't know of anything. This is bad.
The only thing that would make it crazier is if somehow the mob was involved with this, like if they were like getting money. Because that's where my mind goes. Like the craziest thing in sports is always the mob. It's the 1919 Black Sox, throwing the World Series, or it's the Boston College basketball players throwing games, the Tim Donaghy referee throwing games. Like that's when it gets wild with sports. When the mob can kind of use it. So. I don't know if they're out there in East Surrey, but I feel like it would be, the equivalent would be like if we saw like a very big name player, they put a big names player on the Patrick Mahomes camp and like people like sign up and stuff. And then they show up to camp and like, where's Patrick Mahomes? Where's the camp? Like what's going on? And it's just like, they've just pocketed the money or something like that.
Dude, it's brutal.
It's weird. I actually kind of hope it does. The mob is kind of involved because that just increases the Netflix documentary. Hopes.
I actually heard it's the comeback of the Cocaine Cowboys making a return to the Surrey County here.
That could be it.
This is how they funnel the drug money.
Oh my god,
1,000%.
God, what a wild story! I appreciate you shedding the light on that. I hate it for the kids. I do, but man, what a wild story.
I do for sure.
Damn.
It's been the talk of the town. Had to bring it up.
Yeah, rightfully so. Rightfully so. Well, boys, let's talk about a coaching legend here. Not Derek Carr.
No, that's Jim Boeheim.
Spoilers.
I know. Sorry.
Wow.
Coach Boeheim calling it officially quits, man. 42 years. He was a player at Syracuse. Coached for him since the early 70s. And, man, he's just – when I think Syracuse basketball, he's Melo, Coach then Boeheim are the two faces that come to mind. And it's, amazing career. I've got it pulled up here. 5 Final Four appearances, 2003 national champs, second most wins by men's head basketball coach in Division I history. Coach K being number one. Just a legendary figure. And you think about the names that have retired in the past year, 2 years, the Mount Rushmore of college basketball, I feel like, is definitely leaving there. And there's a lot of young faces, a lot of new guys on there. And, man, cheers to Coach Boeheim and his legendary career there. Any thoughts from you guys?
Is the 2-3 zone dead?
Ooh.
Is the 2-3 zone like officially, is that going to be extinct? Just no more.
Yeah. Because I mean,
I'll have you know we. Good. God, I was gonna say I'll have you know I will continue to always push for a 2-3 zone in any sort of pickup situation. Forget man, we're gonna run a zone.
Make them shoot.
Okay, I guess the 2-3 zone will hang around for another maybe 14 to 18 years at least with the dads. Like it'll survive in like rec league basketball. But once these kids are now coaches, I'm gonna just bold prediction. We're gonna be talking to our like kids and grandkids about the 2-3 zone, and they're like, "What the hell are you talking about? Like, what is that?" It's like, "Oh, it's a whole defensive scheme." And like, why did people do that? And we'll have to
what it
talk
makes
about Jim Boeheim.
It makes me think of like this might be the first instance of basketball that I could think of. Like, football, you've got all these old ass offenses like the wing T, single wing, ham bone that are like they're still run in some instances. And it's just this might be the first instance where I'm like, man, a basketball thing might die.
Yeah.
Like at a professional level. Or a semi-professional in terms of college.
I mean, in all seriousness, just how important the 3 ball is to the game. I mean, I don't think you can guard 2-3 zone. I mean, like you're just not going to see it. Syracuse was kind of the last one to do it forever. So
yeah, that's a good point. Good point, boys. Favorite Boeheim memory here? Boeheim memory. I'm struggling today. To me, it's It's the 6 overtimes with UConn against Jim Calhoun, another legendary coach, like Kimbo Walker, just battling just all of the Syracuse, and you seeing that 2-3 defense, and just I don't know, that game really sticks out to me because it lasted to like 1 a.m. It felt like it was awesome Big East basketball.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't have any memory of Boeheim at all.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, same. I'm just sad. I didn't even think about the 2-3 dying. I loved it because it was basically like I could rest. I was like, all right, cool. I get a breather on defense. I just got to get big. Like that was it. Now it's gone. Faded.
Oh, I didn't
for rec league balls.
think Staff Infection will still run the 2-3 zone. The vaccine
Sons
staff
of
at
bitches.
Appalachian State.
Putting on
They
the
had
gravestones.
like 30. They had like 30 people in their roster. They were making like hockey subs.
They
They
made
just-
line
you know?
changes.
Yeah, they rotated.
So
Yeah,
a team like that can run 2-3 zone all day.
Yeah, I remember I went for a layup against them, and they just fucking just chucked my legs out under me. I'm like, what the
They'll
hell?
absolutely maul you.
No, I think
Really?
Boeheim. Yeah, I was trying to look at Boeheim. I think one of the most famous. He threw a chair. It wasn't the Bobby Knight, but he just
No.
kind of tossed a chair on the court.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. And I don't remember the battles with John Thompson at Georgetown. But that's a good documentary to watch. Is Requiem of the Big East. I might have to do that
That's a good one.
just with Boeheim. But just how they kind of built college basketball in a different place of the country, like in New York, just really bringing it out. And Boeheim's definitely a piece of that.
No, I think that's a great one. And yeah, anybody who hasn't seen that 30 for 30, Requiem of the Big East, it's a good one, especially when March Madness right around the corner.
Yeah. Also, the birth of ESPN in that documentary.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, boys. We're going to move on. We're going to move from college hoops into a little NBA action here. Crazy time in the NBA. Let's just start with the standings real quick, and then we'll break from there. So in the East, Bucks are in control. I don't think we're completely surprised there. Celtics number 2. The Sixers and Cavs make 3 and 4, though. That one's a little head scratching to me. Knicks at 5, Nets at 6, Heat 7, 8 Hawks, 9 Raptors, 10 Wizards. West, you got the Nuggets at 1, but the Sacramento Kings sitting at 2. Who haven't been relevant since Mike Bibby in the gang. 3, the Grizz, 4 Suns, 5 Mavs, 6 Warriors, 7 T-Wolves, 8 Clippers, 9 Lakers, and 10 Pelicans. I would never have imagined this list. I don't know about you guys, but what's your all's thoughts here about this list?
I'm laughing at myself. I have a running joke with people who like the rom-com How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Yeah.
And I just said the most unrealistic thing of that movie is that the Knicks and the Kings play in the NBA Finals. I was like, that's the most unrealistic thing, and that movie is completely unrealistic. But I'm looking at it now, and like the Knicks and the Kings are both the Knicks are probably a younger group than the Kings. I think the Kings have moved some pieces in. They have a little more veteran presence. But both of those teams I'm looking at like, wow, how are they where they are? And granted, the West is not as strong this year as I think the East is. I think the East is definitely more of a powerhouse, but still, I mean, they're in the mix, and we're going to see them in the postseason. So, two teams that have struggled probably in the past, I don't know how many, 3 decades maybe. I mean, you said since Mike Bibby, it's probably like since Chris Webber lost to Kobe and the Lakers.
Yeah,
we haven't really talked about the Kings at all.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, I hadn't really followed this much, but anytime you see the Kings on like a top 10 list for the division or the conference, you kind of have to like, whoa, double take.
Yeah.
I'm with Evan. Well, really, and you too, Parker. Anytime there's a team that's just crap, unless they're like the Cleveland Browns, and I see them like doing some things, let's go. Let's do it.
Hours, yeah.
The only
I'm
thing
cool
is,
with it.
the Suns are red hot right now. Ever since Katie went over there, I think they're just they're on fire. So the Suns will sneak past the Kings at some point, and possibly the Mavs, maybe even the Grizz, but we'll see. Again,
you keep an eye on KD's Instagram live. There might be some firearms coming out soon. Just wait.
Oh no.
That's all it's going to take to tip them over. You just keep an eye on it.
Dev, any thoughts about the standings real quick?
I didn't even know half of those teams existed. So,
oh my god! Hey, we're a great sports podcast.
I've never even heard of the Kings.
They run a 2-3 zone.
Dude, I'm not gonna
Maybe
like.
that's why they're successful.
In middle school or like 5th grade, if you had a Mike Bibby jersey, like you were the fucking shit.
They were
dude.
dope, man. Peja Stojakovic.
Yeah,
he was before his time.
He had the craziest shot.
Yeah, hell man, he was a heat check. Absolutely. Vlade Divac, is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
He was old.
Yeah.
White chocolate Jason Williams.
Jason Williams, baby.
Yeah, they were just they just kind of fizzled. They fizzled real fast.
I want you guys to look up the Kings roster and tell me like a name you're like, oh hell yeah. Because I'm looking at it like Sabonis, and that's about it. Darren Fox.
I mean, Darren Fox, good college player.
Yeah.
I don't know Keegan Murray.
Harrison Barnes is the only name I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
I remember watching him in college.
It's weird. Deladova.
Davian Mitchell, like
yeah, it's a weird
bunch
crew.
But it's working.
A motley crew, if you will.
Oh, I like that.
Well, the Knicks are interesting. So they got Jalen Brunson, which if you watched NBA playoffs last year, Brunson was kind of the 2 guy with the Mavs. He just really emerged, and then the Mavs sent him over and it was like, oh man, Luka. It's just so funny because now Luka's with Kyrie Irving, and everyone was like, oh, Kyrie, but it's like, yo, y'all had Jalen Brunson, and Brunson's killing it with the Knicks right now, and obviously Obi Toppin, second-year player, he was a key for the Knicks, kind of improving last year. So yeah, Knicks are. I'm actually, people are raving about the Kings. I'm kind of looking at the Knicks right now. That's a tougher conference to be in, but I think they could potentially. I think they could have the potential to go deeper in the playoffs than people think.
Yeah. Well, we talked about both these guys. Let's see how they're doing on their new teams here. KD and Kyrie. KD with the Suns. It seems to be the right move for everybody involved there. The Suns are just rolling right now. And KD looks back to KD's self. Kyrie with the Mavs, that seems to be working as of right now. You never know with Kyrie. I've always gone on record to say he's kind of a cancer and he kind of burns everywhere he goes. But hell, maybe Dallas and Luka and those guys, Mark Cuban, they know how to control Kyrie. I don't know, but as of right now, both these teams got a lot better with these guys, and I'm kind of surprised. How's your all's thoughts on this one?
I mean, I hate KD, man. Bouncing from super team to super team. You had to love Phoenix, like a guy like Devin Booker, just staying with a shitty squad and trying to get them turned around. And obviously they had Chris Paul, but you didn't feel like Chris Paul was making any moves like that. That Chris Paul was going to the best opportunity. But KD just goes when it's hot. That's what I hate is he doesn't. It's infuriating.
He's not willing to grind it out. Is that what you're saying?
No, he doesn't. He hasn't He hasn't done that. Kyrie, I give you my thoughts on Kyrie. I think they were better with Brunson, but
yeah.
Kyrie's like.
I'm kind of with you, Parker. I think we've read this book before with Kyrie Irving, where like when he came to the Nets, it was all, dandelions and pretty skies, and then things took a turn. It was similar in Boston. I feel like when he first came to Boston, everyone was like, okay, this is a good groove, and then things got hairy. Give it a month. Something's going to go on. Kyrie's going to sit out for something. It's just, I don't know. I'm sick of talking about him. Just like, I don't even talk about it much. That's the thing. Like, I only talk about Kyrie here, but it's like you just kind of get hit with it in the media all the time. You know, Kyrie. I don't care about Kyrie. I don't care about him. On the other hand, I think KD. I'm just kidding. I was gonna troll. I'm sorry, Evan. I couldn't do it for you. I was gonna say something like, I think KD might be the greatest of our generation. But as I was thinking about it, I was just cracking up, so I couldn't do it.
I can't.
What you got up here?
All right. So Devin, I had to, he's the reconnecting man now. We had to get him back in. But this picture came up in it, and I thought it was pretty fitting. Another guy who we like to shit on around here, Russell Westbrook. He gets traded from Lakers to Clippers, which we didn't talk about. But ever since that trade, Lakers are 7-3, moving from 13th to 9th in the West. Clippers are 1-5, moving from 4th to 8th. A lot of people saying Russ, the double agent, over and over. Or as I like to say, just Russ is just not good for a team.
Yeah, and that's what's weird is I always liked Westbrook. I thought he was like, even when KD left, the Thunder were still relevant with Russ and Steven Adams and some of the guys they had. I don't know what it is now though. He's just not a good. He's lost some of that explosiveness. He's just like, people now can defend him where he seemed kind of unguardable for a stint. I don't know what it is, but he's just not a good point guard right now. Like, at this point in his career, it's almost like he has to change his game, and he just hasn't. He's either not figured it out or he's unwilling to try to figure it out. But like, it's just not working.
And I was gonna say, did success go to his head a little bit, or has he just not learned to adapt to his game? Like, is he just too stubborn? Like, no, I can't read him. Like, I don't know if he's just a cocky asshole who refuses to change, or he just is too dumb to change. Like, you know what I'm saying? And in the nicest way possible. I know you can't really be nice saying that, but
As I listen to you guys discuss this fine gentleman, I can't help to think about Carmelo Anthony. This is like, talk about someone who stuck in their ways. They were hot for a time, but they just kept doing the same old song and dance. And it was like, yo, the game's changing around you. Like, you got to change with it, or ride the bench, warm the bench up, and something. But
yeah. It's like embrace. It's like embrace being a role player, and I know that's so hard to do when you've been an all-star, or like, I kind of make room for other players. Like, even like a player like Dirk is towards the end of his career. Dirk was like, there's way better players on this team. I can contribute with where I am, but I'm not the key guy. Now Dirk, that's a different player. Vince Carter would be the prime example of someone to completely change their game. I'm going to be a six man of the year type. I'm going to come off the bench, shoot threes. Yeah, there'll still be some glimpses of insanity, but that's not my primary role. My role is to be a spot up shooter and knock them down. And Russ just hasn't figured out, like, he can't be the star in LA. They're not going to win. And he's got to figure that out. I think he can. I probably have more faith in Russ. It's just tough. And I think being alongside LeBron James probably doesn't help either.
Well, I always thought it was really interesting that they put LeBron and Russell together. Both guys are pretty dribble drive heavy and just like attacking the basket. So, like, really, I mean, just outside perspective, I don't watch a lot of NBA. It just seems like defenses can probably just sit back and just play near the basket because they know that two of those guys are in. There's a good chance that somebody's driving to the basket.
Yeah.
Like,
that's a good
I
point.
think that's why. I mean, like, Dwayne Wade was more of he could dribble drive, but he was also very in depth with his role. I mean, he could do everything, and Russell isn't that guy.
Yeah. No, that's a solid point. And like even Wade adapted eventually. He was like, man, my body can't take this. I've got guys like LeBron on my team and Bosh on my team. I don't have to keep dribbling driving anymore. I can kind of be a general out there, which that's a really good point, Slate. Well, let's talk about a guy who needs to change his ways and maybe the team around him, he's got to cut some people out. This is another wild story. Ja Morant, dude. I feel like he's trying to make it out the league and into the hood. Like, this is crazy.
He didn't grow up in the hood.
No. And like, I know South Carolina, the area he grew up in is I mean, it's not Beverly Hills and all, but it's not the hood. Like, this is wild. He's trying to be gangster. He's trying to be hard. And you're fucking yourself over, Ja Morant. Like, you are screwing yourself. And I just don't understand it. You know, first the reports come out of, you know, him punching a 12-year-old kid in the face or 16 I don't remember the age, maybe 15-year-old 12 times in the face, and then goes and puts a gun in his face. Like, come on, dude. What are we doing? And then, you know, he flashes a gun on Instagram Live, and that's what got the suspension rolling from the league. You know, he was caught, you know, intimidating the Pacers and like pointing a red laser into their van and like supposed to be a scope. And it just seems like he punched a security guard. That's another thing. Like, this is just, he's being a fucking idiot. I don't know how else to put this. Like, you've made it, dude. You're in the league. You went from Murray State to the league. You're getting paid. You're the face of like Powerade and Nike. Sit back and relax, dude. No one gives a shit if you're a gangster or not. Like, collect your checks. Go make some game-winning shots. Go win a ring. Life's good for you, dude. This is my dumbass of the year right now.
Not Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon. We're going to talk about Joe.
I was waiting on Joe Mixon.
Legend Joe.
I think it's just interesting how we had the Ja Morant story, and it's like, oh man, how can you get any worse than this guy? And then it's like, oh, Joe Mixon. It's like, oh, geez.
We'll talk about that.
We just need more team therapists. I feel like that might be my calling. Maybe I should go be a team therapist somewhere. Provide some counseling services.
I don't hate it
for these guys.
Evan, I don't want to see you.
You wound tight.
Evan, I don't want to see you on an IG Live getting punched in the face by Ja Morant. All right. I mean, we appreciate you on here. We care for you. Okay. I don't know if, Parker kind of hit the nail on the head. He's just being an idiot. Like, okay, yeah, you don't know what someone's going through until you're in their shoes, but I mean, money doesn't buy happiness, but you can be pretty damn happy with a lot of money. Like, what are you doing? Like, come on, man. Like it's just so confusing. To us, it's just like, what? You're a multimillionaire and you're punching teenagers in the face? Waving a gun around? Like, come on. I don't know. I won't get it. I won't ever get it. I don't know.
Net worth $80 million. Give me $1 million and see how happy I fucking am. You know,
it'll go to your head. It's dangerous, man.
I guarantee you, I won't be a wankster out there, man.
Yeah, but when I don't know. I defend these guys like that. Like, Ja Morant's a kid. You know, it's he's not.
Hell no, he ain't no kid.
25 is the new 50, or what is it? 25 is the new 15. Is that what they say? Look at like adolescence.
Look, he's just 23, saying, man.
He's getting this.
I was a fucking professional at 23. No, don't give me this.
Yeah, I know. I'm playing devil's ad a little bit.
I don't know, man. It's head scratching just because there's so much talent there. Like, to me, last year I was like, dude, Ja Morant's the dude. Like, this is a guy that's going to change the league, and he'll be a face in the West. And now I'm like, fuck, why did I say that? Like, he's just shooting himself in the foot. Now I think he can fix it. I think he can get it right. You know, where you were a believer in Westbrook, I'm a believer in Morant. He'll fix this issue. Like, he'll get the right people around him, so. and I hope so too. But we'll see. Well, you mentioned it, so let's go ahead and talk about it. Joe Mixon allegedly shot a kid that came on his property that had a Nerf gun. Their kids were playing Nerf guns late at night, like midnight. Didn't know what happened. Apparently shot a kid, non-life-threatening, kind of flesh wound type of deal. Well, reports today say Joe Mixon was not involved, that it was someone
Mm.
at Joe Mixon's residence or another house that's his neighbor's house, that they
Okay.
police taped 2 houses, and Joe Mixon's house just happened to be in the area.
Okay.
So there's still a lot of information to be out there. I don't know. Joe Mixon's past doesn't really help him in the situation, just because of, when he's coming in the draft, he had the domestic violence abuse scandal that was looming over his head. That's why he went from a 1st-round draft pick to a 5th round or 6th round, where Cincinnati got him from. He's been nothing but a great Bengals player. You haven't heard anything from him in the off field and like off season stuff. Like, he's been great. Now all of a sudden this stuff breaks, and I hope it's not Joe Mixon. I hope none of him or his people are involved. And if one of his people are involved, I hope he cuts that person out of his life, because you can't risk it. Just like we talked about John Morant. If you keep those people in your life, you're a dumbass, and they're going to pull you down to their level. And I hope Joe Mixon's smart enough than that. And hopefully him or none of his people are involved. We still need some more information to come out of this whole thing. Any thoughts with Joe Mixon here?
Just, I don't know. Good research on your end. I don't know the story, so it's just all the alleged talk is just so weird. It's just been it's a theme that keeps coming up.
I feel like news is so quick to be like, let's pull the trigger on this, and without getting the facts right. And I guess you want to be the first one to break a story, but at what costs? We've talked about that before on here.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Parker, you've done much more research on this, but I was just getting little drips of information through like my news feed. And my understanding is that people were like tweeting like every minute on the minute, or like every 5 minutes, of like just updates that were all alleged or what they thought. And it's like, whoa, we don't even know the story here. Like, so let's just pump the brakes. Okay. Like, I'm kind of with Evan here. I'm just going to wait till we have some more solid evidence versus reading tweets about every 5 minutes about it came from Joe Mixon's house and all this stuff. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't know. It's kind of exhausting after a while.
Yeah. I 100% agree. Slate, you're back with us. Any thoughts about Joe Mixon or John Morant? I know you guys kind of got cut off.
I have no idea what's wrong with Joe Mixon, but it doesn't seem good if he doesn't like his playing in his yard as the title.
Get off my lawn.
Get off of it. But no, I think you said it best with the John Morant thing. It's just like, it's not about being hard or putting up this tough guy act. I mean, you made it. Just stop being a damn idiot, dude. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
the stuff he's doing, like, honestly makes no sense. And I mean, I think it's just putting up a persona. Obviously, he's got some demons where he thinks he needs to be a hard A, and in reality, he could be the softest person in the world making millions of dollars a year. So,
Yeah. Man, I hate it. It's just, I guess, the world we live in, maybe. I don't know. I hate it. All right. Let's move into the NFL Combine, and we're going to talk about Wanya Morris here, Oklahoma lineman. And it kind of raises some questions about maybe what can be done to change this thing. I'm going to show you the video of him running his 40. And I think if we're like any of us, if a lineman's running a 40-yard dash, do they really need to run a 40? Like,
So he pulled his hammy?
Yeah, pulled his hamstring. He was done for the day. This is the biggest job interview of your life. I'm at the belief if a lineman's running 40 yards, somewhere, somehow, something fucked up. Like, they should not be running 40 yards at full sprint here. And I hate it, because this is the biggest job interview for these young guys. You're talking $1 million on the line for this job. I hate it for him. Should the combine adapt? Should it change? Should linemen have to go through all these tests? And should skill guys have to put up 225 on bench? Like, I get it. It's something for us in March and something like football related, but adapt to it. Maybe change the drills for some of these guys. And we're talking about Andrew Voorhees, who tears his ACL and we'll talk about him in a little bit,
Mhm.
doing shuttle runs. Like
Mhm.
linemen running shuttle runs, they're just pulling one way, not back and
Mhm.
forth. It's just, I don't know, man. What's your all thoughts here? Does enough combine need to adjust some of the drills?
I'm a little conflicted. Obviously, that's pretty shitty. I mean, most of the time with guys like that, you're just looking at the first 10 anyway. So, but where I am conflicted is like you've got such a pool of insane athletes, and yeah, like the combine might be a little redundant in terms of some of the drills that they do, but when you're talking how good these guys already are, like the hand measurements obviously are going to matter. Like if you got two guys stacked up side by side, one's 6'1", one's 6'2", one's got a quarter inch bigger hand, that's probably a little bit of the measurement that they're going off of. Obviously, I don't. That's very extreme, but I definitely think if you're going to be paying these guys millions of dollars, they really should be able to run 40 yards without being injured. But at the same time, it is shitty when stuff like that happens. I mean, hell, how many skill guys back out of the 40-yard dash every year? Why do we not see more offensive linemen doing stuff like that?
That's a good point. Yeah.
And they might, but I mean, what? Obviously, I'm not the scout, but like, what helps your draft stock run at a 5.2 40? That's not impressive by basically any standard.
Yeah. Yeah.
In terms of NFL level.
I was watching the Bullies of Baltimore, the new Ravens 30 for 30. And Tony Saragusa, I think they were asked to do like sprints or something. Goose is just like, if I got to run 40 yards, we're losing. Like, I'm not the guy. It's just, because he's defensive tackle or nose tackle. It's like, my job is just to kind of bull rush my guy or kind of set the edge or whatever. It's not to run down a guy, And
Very
so
true.
I do think it's like, there should be different skill sets for each position. I know there are, but maybe even more so.
Yeah. That's a good 30 for 30 too.
The best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of have to echo what you guys have said. The PT in me is it kind of drives me crazy because we focus on task specific movements and functional movements, and like Devin said, 40-yard dash for a lineman, you run a 5.2, it's not going to make much of a difference. But you also feel obligated to do it because maybe it's another way you can put yourself out there. I think nowadays we have such amazing tools and ways to track movement, force, power, levels of strength, and we can make it position specific. We can make it, receiver versus offensive defensive lineman versus whatever. You guys know me. I like change when it comes to this stuff. Any sports, baseball, football, I think it is definitely overdue. Because it puts the athlete in a weird position. If, let's say you're not that 5-star recruit wide receiver from Bama who's like, I'm not going to run it, but you still want to get your name out there, you kind of risk this injury. And so I think there's a much more effective way that you can test the strength and ability of a position without, the chance of some potentially severe injury. So I hate it for the guy. I get it, but we got to get past this.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right. And you heard it from the doctor here first. It's
Not
just,
a doctor.
I was reading 5 NFL hopefuls have pulled out of the combine and because of injuries. So I don't know. I don't know what the average is. I don't know if it's up or below or right at the average. I'll have to look that up. That's bad research on me. But yeah, I feel like there has to be some type of adjustment. But then I'll also understand devil's advocate of Devin. Hey, you're paying these guys $1 billion. Shit, they better be able to run a 40. Like that's the bare minimum they should be able to do. It's tough. It's a tough balance. I get it. Well, let's talk about Andrew Voorhees, who to me once again, the combine kind of screws him over here. He tears his ACL doing shuttle runs side to side, which linemen typically don't run right, left, right. It's typically pull right, pull left, pass block, that type of stuff. But anyways, he tears his ACL. He then crutches out and just rips off 38 reps on the bench press, 225 on crutches. I'm going to show the video right here. This is just a dog doing what dogs do.
Didn't he get the most in the combine?
Yeah, absolutely he did.
Like ever?
I
Or
don't.
just this year?
I think it's just like this year's.
Okay. I was like, ever? Jeez.
I mean, he's on crutches, right? He's limping out there, and anybody who does bench press, you use leg drive. Like you have both feet flat on the ground, and you engage your glutes to drive that bar up, and especially when you're trying to get as many times as possible. He's only got one leg on the ground. He's the other ones he's got straight up in that locking brace for the ACL, and he just rips off 38 of these.
Tim's like, I could do that.
God, no. What a tank. Look at this guy.
Just like rep after rep. And so draft of the week. Yeah, John Morant was my dumbass of the year. Draft of the week, maybe draft of the year.
That's good.
Going to Andrew Voorhees here.
Yeah,
Good call.
that's super badass that he didn't just like opt out.
Yeah, I don't know if I would be like, I feel like I'd be too just emotional and be like, there goes my chance at, first round pick, $1 million. Maybe somebody will pick me up on our practice squad, but it'll have to be next year. Like, this guy's like, fuck that. I'm not feeling sorry for myself. And I'm just going to rip off this bench press here. I'm going to show him that, hey, I don't need an ACL to be a dog. I love it.
Yeah, I'll be honest. If we're going to get rid of any of the draft or the combines shit, it's got to be the lineman doing the shuttle. That's a lot of force, a lot of ass to be planting on that knee.
Absolutely.
Oh my, there's just, it's blowing my mind how ineffective some of these things are.
Yeah.
The $1 billion industry, you'd think they'd get something right like this. Come on. This is stupid.
I think Parker just brought up a good point. I mean, the drill that you do for the lineman is literally just a pull drill. It's a 10-yard sprint where you're coming from a perpendicular stance and pulling around, and you just run 10 yards past it. I mean, that would show way more than a 40-yard dash or a shuttle. Because they've already got tape, them doing like their like pass sets and stuff like that and adjusting. I'm pretty sure they even do that in the combine. So like, what is the purpose of the shuttle?
Yeah, exactly. It's infuriating. Well, boys, let's move to some free agency news here in the NFL. We'll move away from the combine. Let's first talk about Fitz's boy. Danny Dimes is no longer. It's Danny Dollar Bill, y'all. And then franchise tag Saquon Barkley. The Giants making these moves, and I guess it's a quarterback league. And like, I guess you rewind the clock maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, the people be like, "Oh, you pay Saquon, you tag Daniels." But with Barkley's injury history, this move makes sense. Now it's the non-exclusive tag, and we'll talk about that non-exclusive tag a little bit later on. But basically, what it means is Barkley can go shop himself around. Giants get a chance to match that offer, though. And a lot of people think Saquon's not leaving just because the Giants are a young team. It seems like things are clicking. They got the right people in the right places. He had his first full healthy season since his rookie season. Things seem okay with Barkley. Danny Dimes getting paid. I think it's 4 years, $160 million. So getting, a good chunk of change there. Any of your all's thoughts here?
I mean, it was a tough division last year. I think all four teams were competitive. I think Washington kind of fizzled out at the end, but they were pretty competitive. Defensively, I think the Giants can hang with everyone in their division. And so I think knowing you've got a quarterback that can lead this group, Danny played, as soon as I hopped off the train, of course, he starts playing well. Then I can't claim that I always believed in him because I jumped off the train, but I'm so close. I was so close. And it does help when you got Saquon. So, it would hurt if they lose Saquon in this. But I feel like Saquon wants to be there too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's weird. I've hated the Giants most of my life because they just spoil the Packers. And knowing my history, they will probably spoil the Packers in the next couple years at some point. But I like these guys. I think they're doing it the right way. Just there's got to be a lot of excitement in New York right now.
Danny Dimes. The whole what's the argument? He's only I can't remember. He's only won one playoff game or something like that, and this is Kirk Cousins 2.0. Like not quite good enough to make you get to the final game, but like he'll keep you in contention. This is a solid Kirk Cousins. So I guess sorry, Giants fans. I don't know. I really like Saquon. But Danny Dimes, that turf monster, has his number.
Oh, man, it does.
And it needs sacrifices every year. Who's it going to be?
What a callback to season 1.
Yeah.
Slate, thoughts here?
No, I agree with them.
Yeah.
No,
so am I hopping back? Can I pop back on the train if y'all aren't hopping on?
I'm not hopping on. Don't worry.
You can hop on the Jameis Winston train with me down to the XFL if you want.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get there, let's talk about Geno Smith. He didn't write back, but he wrote his name on the contract. 3-year, $105 million. Shout out to Geno Smith. I'm really happy for the guy. So we talked about him last week or maybe the week before of like the Seahawks would be dumb to move away from him. But then the kind of devil's advocate, like, well, maybe it wouldn't be too bad, but he's earned this payday. He's earned this money coming into him just based off last season. I'm happy for him, and I hope it works out for Seattle. Thoughts for Geno in Seattle?
Yeah, we talked about it recently. This definitely makes it. I don't know if my prediction will be in fruition. I don't know that the Seahawks shop for a quarterback this draft. Maybe it's a later round, maybe like 3rd round, 4th round. I do feel like they're going to take a young quarterback, but now it looks like it won't be early.
Yeah,
but it could come later in the draft.
I think it's a good move for Seahawks. I mean, he's produced for them decently enough, and I think it's good for all parties.
This is like, this is a wonderful contract. I think not just for like Geno in Seattle, but like, I think it's a nice reminder to the league that you don't have to pay, Danny Dimes $40 million a year. Like there's a middle of the pack contract, and I mean, obviously it takes both parties to be cool with it, but like this is awesome. Like he's getting a pay raise from what he's gotten in the past. It's a very incentive based contract, and so again, Geno's betting on himself, but at the same time, it's team friendly, and so I think a lot of teams that are in this kind of weird, not quarterback purgatory, but like they think they have someone, but they're not quite ready to give him the Patrick Mahomes contract. I think this is very suitable for everyone. So take notes, NFL. I wouldn't mind something like this for Jared Goff, when he's due next year, something 2 to 3 year, middle of the pack. We're not breaking the bank for him, but like something like this is perfect. I really like this contract.
Would you, Tim? Would you give? I know you like the team friendly deals, and they're also player friendly. Like hell, let's be honest, 33 or 36 million a year. It's a good deal for everybody involved. But let's say you got Lamar, Mahomes, Burrow. You backing the brink chucks up? Are you willing to throw away $60 million a year for these cats? Double the money, or no?
I don't know.
Okay.
I really don't. I guess for like, unless you have, the top 5 quarterbacks, I think this is a good middle ground.
Okay.
I don't see the value in overpaying for someone like Kirk Cousins or Daniel Jones or
Just the digs on the NFC East right here. And
I mean, I know I guess we're kind of on the fence, at least I am, but like a Derek Carr, I think a contract like this for Derek Carr would be more appropriate. So I don't know. It's I guess you have to. I mean, if you have a Joey B or a Lamar, you got to do it. But I guess that goes into the whole guarantee thing, and that's a whole basket of worms you don't want to get into.
Yeah, and Derek Carr kind of gets that middle of the road deal like you talked about, 4-year, $150 million, but the payments still kind of work out about the same here. And he's going down to New Orleans, which that means Winston is probably playing ball somewhere else, or Taysom Hill. Who knows? Even though Taysom Hill just signed a big contract last year, so probably my guess would be Winston ship it out, maybe the XFL or probably a different team. Let's be honest, he's good enough to be in the league. He showed it. Just that ACL injury he's got to come back from. But Derek Carr, I think one of you guys sent the stat, like he's been with the Raiders ever since, and they've had a bottom tier defense every single year. Now he's with the Saints that ranks in the top 10 of defense. How good can the Saints be? But then I saw another stat that he mirrored the exact same stats as the Saints quarterbacks did the past 2 years. So is Derek Carr the game changer New Orleans needs, or is he just a Band-Aid on a bigger issue?
NFC South is looking very weak right now.
Yeah.
As far as quarterback play. So I think it's a great landing spot for Carr.
Mm-hmm.
Offensively, I'm not sure. I feel like the Saints need a few weapons. That Michael Thomas has just been kind of so-so and being hurt too much. They'll have Taysom Hill, the gadget guy. So it depends on who they can put around him. I don't know. Maybe I'm just optimistic on like Daniel Jones and Derek Carr, but I think it could be good for Derek Carr. I'd be curious what the odds would be on how many games they give the Saints to win, because I think they're definitely going over 500. I think they could have potentially the upside of like 10, 11 wins, which is kind of wild.
I don't hate it. Boys, anything else to add here?
I've said my piece.
All right. Let's play some
how many times can a phoenix rise? That's the question.
We opened it today with that in our little pre-podcast discussion.
One day it's gonna be a series in itself. The pre-post.
That is interesting. I like that. The pre-podcast discussion.
All right, we're gonna play very quick. GM, and you've got to make a decision. There's no middle ground. There's no that Tim bullshit of like,
whoa,
we'll see, maybe. All right, we're going diving in head first here.
Make a great GM.
Let's say you're wearing some green and white. You're up in New York. You're a Jets GM. Aaron Rodgers is traveling to you. What do you give up for Rodgers, if anything?
Not shit. Draft a quarterback. Dude, draft a quarterback. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is just like Lamar Jackson. I would not pick Lamar Jackson because if you want him, you're backing the truck up and you're sending picks. Don't do it. Jets, if you do it, you're going to, oh my gosh, this is going to be hilarious. Don't do it. Just don't do it.
This completes the Favre prophecy.
Here he goes to the Vikings.
In 20 years, we're going to hear about Aaron Rodgers in a lawsuit for stealing money from the underserved and opening up freaking volleyball thing. And that's the completion of the prophecy. Aaron, you're going to jail. Follow Brad. We need the dick pics to the trainers. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Yes,
it's cheerleader.
Jeez.
I mean,
Dev?
if I'm the GM in New York, I want Rodgers all day. But that's just because I'm a Packers fan. So it's just a weird. It's like I don't want the Jets to offer anything to him.
Yeah.
I don't even want to play that game. I don't even want to entertain that thought. Rodgers is coming home anyway. This is all hearsay.
It's not like
Packers don't want him.
Yeah, we do.
Packers don't want him. You guys can get something for him now. Last year
Jones
he could
said,
walk.
Come home, baby. That's what he said
Dog,
today.
Gutekunst hates him. Gutekunst is he couldn't let him walk last year because you couldn't get anything for him. But this year, when he's on contract,
that town has been a riot on Goot. I swear. That
telling you
town
it's happening.
You've seen in the movies when they run someone out of town on a rail. That's gonna happen to Goot in Green Bay. They're just gonna get him on a rail and they're gonna run him from one end to the other.
Week 1, Jordan Love starting.
Slate, what are you doing here? You're just GM.
I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not a huge Rodgers fan, so I don't know. I don't.
I'm just not.
I just don't like. I don't think he's like a Brady. I mean, what's his shelf life? You know, and like, what's he going to be asking for?
Yeah.
So I don't know that it's worth going down that road in a franchise that's still kind of like in that rebuilding phase. I would think. I mean, you've got like a defense that's, I think, on the up and coming in Sauce Gardner, and I feel like that's really probably the only thing that anybody's going to be interested in, other than all your draft picks, which you need to rebuild. So,
see, here's the thing. Here's the thing with Rodgers is this is what drives me nuts is they've been speculating for the past 4 years on is Rodgers going to leave? Is Rodgers going to go? And like the thing is, the only way that Rodgers will leave is if he's going to if it's like a Peyton Manning situation or a Tom Brady situation. There's a team that they literally just need a quarterback and they're going to win a Super Bowl. And there's not really a team like that right now. Maybe the Niners. Like, would the Niners be like the only place that he could go to? But I don't think he's going to go to the Niners. I'm just saying, like, it drives me nuts. There's all these stories of like, is he going to go? Like, where's he going to go? And I'm saying it now. And if I'm wrong, I will shut the hell up. But
hey, before Tim jumps in there, because he's eager. Let's not forget the Broncos were not a Super Bowl contender Manning's first year. It took them a year to get there, and they had to go pick up some pieces. But Tim, go ahead.
Yeah.
I wanted to try to make the connection with Evan here on, his comment with KD earlier and how KD just travels to the hot team. And I don't know. I just get this weird vibe. He was making that argument for Aaron Rodgers. It's just, so what is it, Evan? what is it?
That's my quarterback, man. Different circumstances because it's his quarterback.
No. Rodgers wants to be a Packer. He wants to be a Packer for life. In the same way that Peyton Manning wanted to play for the Colts for life. The way that Tom Brady wanted to play with the Patriots for life. But under certain circumstances, reached a point where at old age, they didn't want him. So it's like I understand that with Manning and Brady. And I think in the same way we'll understand it with Aaron Rodgers. I just hate this media spin that Aaron Rodgers is a diva and stirs up drama because I don't think that's the whole story. And again, I don't think Goot has his hands clean on this. I think Goot has been more problematic than Rodgers has in this.
He's another Gary Kraus out there, I think.
Yeah. And the thing with KD is he's been jumping ship since the time of his career. That's what's annoying.
All right. Okay. Thank you for clarifying, buddy.
I don't have a graphic for this next one. Here's the offer. 2 first-rounders, but you get Derrick Henry. Yes or no? Tim shaking his head no. No?
No.
No. Not for a running back.
No.
Nah.
No way.
I don't know a team that is like the only missing piece is a running back. Like I can't think of a team that would absolutely need that. And I mean, you got to think of also again shelf life of running backs in the NFL is way less than basically any other position.
At what? Because that's the rumor the Titans want. It's 2 first-rounders for Derrick Henry. Is there a fair price to get for Henry in trade picks, draft picks?
I would make if you're a late first rounder, like a team that's already went through like last year, had a pretty successful season, made it to the playoffs. You really feel that you're not getting the value out of a running back, maybe one and a few like consolatory draft picks of just like random. You get next year's 8th round pick or whatever bullshit they want to throw in. But I think maybe a first rounder if you're in that topper tier.
Yeah. Or if like a Seattle Seahawks maybe that has multiple first rounders and like you can afford like, hey, I got 3 first rounders next year. I'll give you one of them. Yeah, that's a good point.
Sure.
Slate.
I just don't see. I mean, I wouldn't give a first rounder for any running back. I think you got just draft a running back. Draft a running back on a cheaper contract, and you're going to have more tread. So, like, what? I get it, it's Derrick Henry, but just use the pick for a running back.
They don't make them like Derrick Henry, though.
I know, but like
Henry.
2 first rounds, if that's the rumor, what are you doing? Get 2 running backs. Shit.
Also, if you're the Titans, what the fuck are you doing? Shipping Bud Dupree, King Henry, Taylor Lewan, like you're losing like your faces of your franchise here. But you got Tannehill back there, baby.
AJ Brown last year.
AJ Brown.
That is a legit rebuild. They're just like fuck everything. We're out.
Full sin. I was the bottom of the league.
Thinking about so when McCaffrey went to the Niners, I think that would be at the equivalent of Derrick.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think about the Niners last year. I mean,
but it's gonna be a team that doesn't necessarily need a running back. Like already has a decent
just need that 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to think of like someone like I know the Jags are a division rival, so it wouldn't happen. But like we got Etienne, but now we want Henry too. It's like it would be just adding Henry to an already decent running back group and team.
Cincinnati, baby, 3-headed monster. I'll take him.
With Joe Mixon gone.
Yeah.
What?
Allegedly, bang bang.
Are you running the Twitter feed, Evan? Are you the one pumping all this?
Weirdly enough, who's the other Steelers running back? I mean, that would be a nasty.
That's nuts.
Harris and Henry.
Najee Harris and Henry. Is it
Yeah,
Benny
why did you
Snell?
put that
They had
evil on
Snell
us?
forever.
I think he's still with them, but I mean that might be a team. I mean, I don't think they're upper echelon.
That'd be
Or
terrible.
want to give it up.
Imagine Chicago.
I think they got to worry about they got to worry about quarterback first.
Yeah. Chicago. Seattle has come to mind just because they have all the multiple first round picks. Geno Smith. Who knows? Last hypothetical GM here. Then we're going to go to your team, Baltimore Ravens. They make a non-exclusive franchise tag on Lamar Jackson, which means he can go shop himself around, but the Ravens get a chance to match him. A lot of people are saying this might be – damn, that's the wrong graphic.
I was like, whoa, what is this?
Golly, I'm done. Anyways, Lamar Jackson gets franchise tagged. They're not exclusive, just like Saquon Barkley. But people are saying the opposite, that this is the end for Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. To me, I'm not sold. I think this is just like, hey, you go see what you're worth. You come back to us, and we'll be glad to match it. But, like, that's your worth instead of, like, you thinking your worth is Deshaun Watson money, because that's what he wants. He wants a fully guaranteed money. And I just think the Browns made unrealistic, like, floor or ceiling, however you want to look at it, deal with Deshaun Watson. And it really soiled the market. And I think a lot of quarterbacks are expecting that type of money, and you're dumb to give guaranteed money, especially that amount.
Yeah, for sure. A few thoughts on this. I mean, first is the franchise tag. So what I think this does more than like, hey, we want you to leave. I think it's a way to re-level the market. I think the Browns were idiotic for that deal with Deshaun Watson.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think it's just a way for them to say, hey, like, we know you're worth a decent amount. I mean, hopefully some teams will bid. You know, we can give him like a reasonable thing. We don't have to shell him off because I love Lamar, regardless of, you know, he's not a Super Bowl quarterback. Well, fuck off, dude. Like, he's fine. Like, you know, he gets the job done. But, I mean, I think it's just a way to level the market. I think it's super weird, and I think J.J. Watt mentioned it as well, that there was so many teams that were adamant that, like, need quarterbacks, like the Panthers, the Commanders, the Raiders, the Falcons, that are just like, nope, we're not bidding. We don't want to pursue a deal. Like, to me, that just screams, like, some sort of team collusion.
Yeah.
So I'm a little iffy on that. I would love to see how that plays out, but that one's really strange to me. And then thirdly, this would have all probably been resolved if Lamar had an agent and wasn't dealing on his own terms. Because the agent would probably be able to – hopefully they would have a good enough relationship where they can explain that, like, hey, the Browns are idiots. Deshaun's deal is basically, like, just throwing the market for a loop.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I get where he's coming from. And you got a guy that hasn't – I mean, Lamar's an MVP. I mean, he's looking at it from his standpoint and backing himself, which I respect. But at the same time, like, if you want to be a team player, you know, that whole propaganda stuff. Like, I mean, I think he wants to be with the Ravens. And I think the Ravens want him, but they just want to come to a deal that's fair for both. And I don't think they're afraid to pay him. I think it's just the guaranteed money that, like, gets really scary to people.
Yeah.
I mean, naturally, I mean, there's no question that he's definitely shown to be an injury-prone guy. I mean, he runs the ball more than our running back. So, I don't know. I want him to stay, but, I mean, he's got to do what's best for him, and we got to do what's best for us. So, at the end of the day, like, we'll figure it out. And I think Tyler Huntley's shown some decent Lamar-esque stuff. I mean, you're not going to get a Lamar. I mean, if we lose Lamar, we're going to go on a rebuild because that whole offense is based around having a decent enough defense. It's not really like a super explosive offense unless you have somebody like Lamar.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, I totally agree.
I just feel like Lamar's the team right now because the Ravens didn't have a great defense last year.
No, we definitely don't. Not by any
Like they were getting
standard.
torched, and like it just feels like Lamar is he's the only thing, which I think that's a sign of, and maybe that's what makes this so hard for Baltimore. Is it's like we have to trade him because it's not going to work. Or we have to trade him. If we pay him, we're just never going to be good because our money's going to go to Lamar. We can't build. But if we can have some kind of king's ransom deal where we give him and get all this stuff, because like Devin, the teams you named, I'm like, yeah, I'd be going for Lamar. Like that would be,
yeah. I mean,
because we have like some of those teams have other things, so they can go for a quarterback.
That's what's so weird to me is that all of them were super vocal about just like it was like an immediate nope, not doing it.
That's weird.
Yeah, Devin, you made a lot of good points. I think, Evan, the issue is we all know what Lamar wants. It's the guaranteed dollars, and so, you know, I think part of it. I don't know about the whole. Like, it is kind of odd that all these teams have come out and said like no, but like I kind of get it. You have all these news media saying, "Oh, the Atlanta Falcons, they can trade all this, and they have 2 first rounders that they can get rid of," and I get getting ahead of it and being like, no, we're not interested. Because we all know what Lamar wants. It's the money. Side note, did anyone else see the tweet from the Cleveland Browns for International Women's Day appreciation? I just thought that was hilarious.
No.
Maybe it was I don't know if it was, you know, maybe someone trolled me and did a Photoshop of it, but they did a post of like appreciating all the women for International Women's Day, and it was like, oh, look at your quarterback, you really appreciate women. So I just thought that was funny. Um, yeah. So, Devin, you made a great point. I think this is exactly what the Ravens are doing to reset the market. It's like if I have a really cool trading card, right? If I have like a Blastoise and I'm like, man, this Blastoise is worth $60 guaranteed money, and no one's buying it, and then I look on eBay and like the last sold was $35. Well, shit, the market's $35 for my Blastoise. It's not 60.
Right.
So that's what they're doing with Lamar. They're saying, okay, Lamar, we can't give you the guarantee, but go ahead and check the market and see what you get. So
Tim, that made more sense to me than any other trade. Maybe we need the Pokemon trade. Is like next week. Give me Derrick Henry. Like what Pokemon car is the Derrick Henry equivalent?
all right, we can make this work. We can make it a little segment.
Henry's he's a $50 Charizard. I don't know.
The franchise tag is the eBay of the NFL.
I love it. All right, let's move to the pub parlay, and this goes out to our boy Calvin Ridley, baby. You're back in the league, reinstated officially. Calvin Ridley parlay, here we come. Pub Sports Talk, let's go, baby. Let's make some money this weekend. I fumbled the bag last week. We went 2 for 3. I let us down. It won't happen again. I've been researching. I've been crunching numbers.
Did my college basketball game hit?
Yes, Fitz, it hit.
I know my Sea Dragons won.
What I picked? I don't
Some
even remember what I
nuts
picked.
on your face. Let's go.
Josh Gordon was torching them, boys. Let's go.
Yeah, 4th down and like 13 comes down with
He almost
the
backpedaled in that end zone. Dang, Josh.
He really did it though. All right, so what day we start with?
What the heck did I pick for college basketball? I'm trying to remember. Oh, I picked I did the no, I didn't do Kansas. Who did I do?
Are we doing
tell you.
Saturday?
Yeah, we can do Saturday. You want to?
I'm good. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I need to know that.
Fitz, you pick
All right, I picked Texas over Kansas, and they won by 26.
Dang, dude.
No, wait, not 26, 16. Sorry, I can't do math.
Oh.
16. That's still a lot.
All right, let's do Saturday, boys, if you guys are down for it.
All right. I'm going to ask someone to pull up the XFL schedule for me on Saturday. I need to know where the Sea Dragons are playing.
XFL's good.
Are you even like going to even know, like, care who they're playing?
Homie, I told you, the Sea Dragons, they barely lost their first 2 matches, and then they whooped on the Vegas Vipers. They're an underrated team.
The
So
Sea Dragons play Sunday.
We can still bet on it though, because they put out XFL stats on Friday or lines on Friday.
Who they got Sunday?
DC Defenders.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Oh, I don't know. I don't like that one. Oh.
Wait, no. I lied. I was looking at week 1.
Oh, San Antonio at Seattle.
The Brahmas?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going Sea Dragons. Yeah. San Antonio's trash.
What are the Brahmas? What is that?
It's like I don't even know. It's I think it's a type of bull, maybe.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Okay. All right, Seattle Sea Dragons XFL Saturday.
Let's go.
Count it.
I'm going a little something different. I meant to bring it up earlier, but the World Baseball Classic is happening right now. So that's like every country has their own team. The United States plays Great Britain on Saturday.
Get fucked,
I would
Matt.
expect a mob. Let's go USA over Great Britain.
So it's Saturday. Perfect.
Man, all college basketball are in conference tournaments, so none of the games can be picked right now. So that kind of stinks. Two teams we talked about, Suns and Kings, are matching up. I would guess the Suns would be favored in that, but I don't know with the rankings. Would they give it to the Kings or the Suns at home? But I want to take the Kings. but I don't know if they'll be favored.
So are we going Kings?
I said we take the Kings.
Kings against the
I'm liking this parlay, boys.
It's fat. It's juicy. All right. We got baseball. We got football. We got basketball. We've got to go to the ice. Got to go to the chill. Give me Canes over Vegas. It's in
Let's
PNC
go.
Arena. Taking the hometown, baby.
Nice. This is fat.
We're getting paid. Calvin Ridley, this is for you, dog. All right. Random question. Anybody got one for us real quick? It's tough. This is always the hardest part of the show. Come up with a question.
For sure.
I might have
If you
one.
could be a plant, what plant would you be?
Plant?
Yeah, plant.
Plant?
I think. All right, I'll go first. I think I'd be a cactus, just all defense. I mean, a stellar defense. I mean, I'm just a wall of needle. Come at me with unbelievable milk. You know.
Healing powers, right? The cactus have good for healing.
What the?
That's nuts.
Unbelievable milk. Wow, that was great. I think I'd be kudzu because I'm so fucking annoying and I spread everywhere. And you can't kill me. So I'm just going to overtake anything kudzu style. I don't have good milk, though. I don't know how you get good milk. Oh, shit.
I don't know.
How do you top that?
I'm trying to think. Like, I don't want to say my favorite plant. I'm trying to think, what plant do I resemble? It might be a rose bush. Because I can be, I can look sweet, but I'm kind of prickly sometimes.
What a prick!
You know, if you come in a little too hot, you might get burned. You know.
Every rose has its thorns.
Yeah. Every rose has its thorn. 100%.
Oh my gosh,
This is a great question.
this is an awesome question. I'm trying to stall real quick. I'm taking a what type of plant am I quiz.
Yeah, I was gonna say you would. If I had to pick, you'd be like poison ivy or like a Venus flytrap.
Who, me? Or
Yeah.
Fitz?
No, you part.
Fuck
Ooh,
yeah. I was gonna take a Venus flytrap. I was gonna say that.
That's good.
I'm gonna finish this quiz. I'll let you guys know my results. I'm pumped for
My
it.
favorite flower is the crocus, by the way. They're like the first flowers to bloom, at least like where, growing up in Western North Carolina, is like when it'd be dead of winter and then you see the crocuses start to bloom and you're like, oh, spring, it's just around the corner. That was like my favorite plant. Always has been.
I was a
purple-
Monstera. Where the fuck that
Purple
is?
flowers.
That's fun. All right,
You
that's
were
gonna be
what?
a Monstera. I don't know. Lame
I like
ass.
Venus flytrap for you better.
Yeah, I like Slate's better. Yeah, good picks. All right, hey, let's go to episode 143. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Bye.
Have a wonderful time.
See ya in a bit. Go well.
R.I.P.
Oh my gosh. We
Put him on a
would
milk carton.
we would be the bad
some
boys of
legendary
Little
milk
League.
out of
I'm
it.
telling you now.
Hey,
We would beat the
Rose
tar out of the other
has
team.
its
I'm just gonna
thorn.
go out and say it. Joey Chestnut
Unbelievable
has
milk.
to be
Has to be.
I mean,
that needs to be a soundbite.
Man, I'm gonna get real theological on y'all. I think we're all a little soft and misunderstood. Let's be real honest.
Get Luke Combs. I was begging for Luke Combs not too long ago. We get Luke Combs on here.
I love it.
Challenge Luke. I think I can actually beat him in shotgunning a beer. So if he thinks he's got the cojones to come on and try, then by all means,
Brad
bring it on.
prepare.
That's the intro. You just hit my promo
Disease
for me,
prone.
James. I love it.
Disease prone breath.
Isn't that the tree that smells like shit?